Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls species around the multiverse, prepare yourself for an hour of bringing the sass back to geekdom, or however long it turns out to be. I am Monts, and with me as usual is...
I've only got one thing to say. Peace on earth. Ba-da-ba-bum-bum.
What do you
Can
say?
it be? Ba-da-ba-bum-bum. Ra-ba-bum-bum. Bum.
Why are you doing that?
Peace on
God.
earth. Well, it's coming up to Christmas, isn't it? Do you know what I
It's
mean?
not even December. Oh, it is December.
It is. As we record, it is the 7th of
All
December.
right, fair enough. All right,
You know what I mean?
let rip at some place else.
Which means the fat dude in the red suit is on his way.
Yeah.
Supposedly, kids.
Oh, Krampus. Have you seen the whole Krampus thing?
No?
So it looks like it's some German myth or something. And I've seen pictures of it. It's like some goat-footed, horned demon kind of creature walking the countryside with a bunch of sticks, beating bad children and putting them in the barrel on his back and walking off. It was like Krampus.
It sounds like you just described my dad.
They call it Krampus night. Krampus walks the land, is beating the bad kids and carrying them away in his basket. It's terrifying, man.
So let me get it straight. He beats the kids and then he puts the kids in the basket.
Yeah, as far as
and then does what with them?
I don't know. I didn't delve.
Yeah, it's true. Don't go too far down that hole.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Wow.
Look, hold on. Let me. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send. Oh, I've got to find a picture somewhere, man. Hold on. Wait. Bear with me. It's going to be worth it.
Do a search on my phone.
Krampus with a K.
Yeah, because it was a film. It was a 2015 film, but
was it?
I didn't actually know it was a.
Yes, like they have street festivals.
Hang on. Oh, yeah. No, I don't want to do
one big long tongue as well.
Right. Krampus is a horned anthropomorphic figure in during the Advent season, scares children who have misbehaved, assisting St. Nicholas. The pair visit children on the night of 5th of December, with St. Nicholas rewarding well-behaved children with gifts such as oranges and dried fruit, walnuts and chocolates. Man, couldn't spring for a Skeletric set. Damn. While the badly behaved ones receive punishment from Krampus with birch rods. Oh no! Sorry, I've just seen the picture.
That ain't good, is it? Ain't good.
So basically, it's Saint Nick and the Devil doing the rounds then.
Yeah, looks like.
Wow, man.
I don't know which picture you've seen, but
no, I've just seen. Oh my lord! I've just seen one. Is basically it's the devil. He's draped up some kid. That's. Boy, poor old Tommy, man. That is what he wanted for Christmas.
I'm sending you a link in the chat.
Wow. Wow. I've just seen that one. Yeah.
Who thought of this, man?
That's just wrong.
It is
just wrong. It's just wrong, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that some kids could do with a good bit of birch, but you know.
The Christmas Devil. Lovely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
you don't get that at school, do you? Happy Christmas, kids. Hope Santa brings you something nice. Watch out for Krampus.
I've got to say, I'd like to, as we continue, we're talking about didn't teach that at school. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Firefield, who was our old history school teacher.
I have been thinking about him all week. I don't even know why.
Right? He was a good history teacher. However, he never taught me that the Lone Ranger was based on the black guy. Kind of, you know what I mean? Bass Reeves. What's going on? Anyway.
Hey, listen, my daughter's doing, my eldest daughter's doing slavery at the moment. And I have got the email I've just composed to a teacher saying, what other parts of black history in the syllabus? Just out of curiosity. You talking about Bass Reeves? Lawman? You know what I mean? Who
Or the
else?
fact that the one that that blows my mind, which I didn't find out till about 4 years ago, was that was Alexandre Dumas. That's the
Ah,
one. That was the
yeah.
one. I'm like, no one thought to. No one
Yeah, look,
thought to mention.
which one? Because both of them are pretty like,
No, I know his dad was known as the Black Count, innit?
yeah,
Yeah, and the Cat and the Cat and Monte Cristo was based on him.
yeah.
But it's the
I
fact that
mean,
the one that I grew up with, the writer Alexandre Dumas, learnt in school and all the rest of it. No one thought to mention maybe at the end of it. Oh, by the way, his dad was a brother. Be like, you what? You know what I mean? Just skimmed over that bit.
yeah. There's so many things like that. I'm just like, give us the positives, man.
Anyway,
Anyway.
that's not what we're here for. We're here for geek malarkey and geek shenanigans.
All right, got any shout outs?
Yes, I have. Shout out to two mates actually. I want to give first shout out who have done. God blimey, they've done good for themselves, and I always like to see that. So it's a doffing the cap. So first off is Pete Rogers,
Yes.
whose film that he's directed. Is it? I think he's his.
Little Brown Bird.
Yeah, I think he's
Directorial debut.
debut, which stars John Rhys Davis, Salah, bad
Yep.
things indeed. And I think her name's Eliza. I want to say Butterworth, she was in The Last Kingdom, which I loved that show. It's won an award for best horror film at the November's Athens International Monthly Arts Film Festival. So big up and big congrats to Pete. Next shout out goes to Corey Brotherson. We love Corey, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
And he's been working for quite a while now. He's been working on it's like a narrative game based on Windrush, called Windrush Tales, and it's been featured in the Edge Gaming magazine. This might not mean much to you because I know you were a gamer back in the day, but you weren't really a gamer magazine reader. But like Edge is big.
Oh, really?
Edge was like, to me, Edge is like the SFX was to
Gotcha.
like
To
geekdom.
sci-fi.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Edge is like that for gaming, and
Okay.
and they've done an interview with kind of him and some of the team and whatever, and he's featured in that. And it was just really lovely to see. He'd said I think he tweeted it to say he remembered picking up the first issue of Edge magazine when he was a teenager, dreaming of one day writing for it. And now he's actually being featured in it. He's just saying it's kind of mind blowing for him. So yeah, I'm really, really chuffed to see that. You know what I mean? Because it's nice when you see, especially people that you know just doing well and achieving some of their dreams, which is good, especially in the creative sphere because it's tough out there. So yeah, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, to me.
Do you know what? I've just said all of that, and you know what? I'd made a note to say this last week, and I didn't. So you say what you're going to say, and then I'm going to say...
Big Finish have released a trailer for... You're right.
Yeah, I was doing a sharp intake of breath because I didn't know a trailer was out.
There's a trailer out because Big Finish have put out a trailer for The War Doctor Begins Enemy Mine, in which I feature as a Time Lord. Who are you?
Someone who was never here.
I'll find Case. And I'll remove her from the time wall.
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
And I said, I played it to my kids and went, shout when you hear Daddy's voice. And my kids are weird. My daughter was like, can we not shout? I was like, okay. She goes, can we say snowman? I was like, all right. What's that about?
What's that got to do with anything?
I don't know. So we're listening to it and they just all went, snowman. And I was like, hey, I don't get it, but you know.
Every time you tell me a story about your kids, like it just confirms more and more that they're your kids.
Yeah, what goes as to quote my father-in-law, my Irish father-in-law, they didn't lick it off the wall.
Okay.
And but it was great. So I listened to it, and I've just got 3 lines I've got 3 words in the trailer. It's just me going, "Who are you?" And I was like, that's me. I was so excited.
I'm so because obviously you'd given me the heads up before, like probably most people, and I've had to keep my mouth shut for all this time, which I've done brilliantly.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but I am genuinely like, and I didn't even know when I could actually say anything, even after it sort of came out. But I'm genuinely like so chuffed to see you get this gig.
And also playing a Time Lord.
I know, to have kind of grown up with you and to have known, like, you know what I mean, you talked about this like since we were kids, and to see you kind of, to me, it would be like if they were going to do like another Indiana Jones movie or something, and they'd called me up and said, "Yeah, we want you to play like, I don't know, Captain Katanga's son or something." Do you know what I mean? It's yeah, you can't put a price on that, man.
And even it's a Time Lord called The Nurse.
The Nurse, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I can go with it.
Yeah, spin-off, man. That's what I'm saying. Spin-off.
I'll
If you get a spin-off and you need like a sort of, do you know what I mean?
An orderly.
Cheeky sidekick called the orderly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
I'll learn acting, man. I'll go and do some acting classes or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but the other person I want to give a shout out to, just because he got me excited this very evening, was Dirk Maggs. So Dirk Maggs is the producer of the Sandman audio dramas happening at the moment.
Oh, cool.
And I've got a thread on my Facebook about the fact that I want to use up my Audible credits for audio books and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have, so I can just sort of cancel my subscription? Does anyone have any ideas? I've got 6 credits. And he came on and he said, "Do you like sci-fi horror?" And I'm like, come on, man. Like, come on. That's my, what do you call it? That's my
jam.
Yeah, thank you. That's my marmalade. And so he goes, so he worked on, so way back, he produced some Alien stuff.
Oh, did he?
But it's not just, I was like, part of me was like, hey, well, I don't want to just pick up a random Alien audio drama, full cast audio drama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm that interested in that kind of thing. But then he goes, you've got to listen in order. And here's the order. Watch Alien. And then listen to Alien Out of the Shadows and Alien River of Pain. Then watch Aliens. Then forget David Fincher's version. Forget David Fincher's version of Alien 3 and listen to their audio version of Gibson's original script.
Ooh.
For Alien 3.
Is that full cast?
Yeah, starring Michael Biehn and Lance Henriksen.
Wow.
And then watch Alien Resurrection and then listen to Alien Sea of Sorrows. And I'm like, they've worked it all in. They've made a canon out of it. They've made it. And I was like, okay, giving it a direction like that, I could be up for that.
I have to say, like, I've loved audio. Me and you have listened to audio drama since we were kids, from like Lord of the Rings days, and also like a lot of the BBC ones they did for, like, I think they did like Spider-Man, Superman. They did Batman Nightfall, which was wicked. But it seems like there's a bit of a like renaissance with. Ooh, look at me. It's a bit of a renaissance with like audio dramas at the moment, because you've got like you've got like the Buffy one, which is like a lot of the cast, it's not all of the cast, and that's like a canon, it's like a spin-off set after. I'm currently listening to Lobster Johnson, which is
I've got that ready to go.
From the Dark Horse stable.
The Hellboy universe.
Yeah. And obviously like the Big Finish stuff, but Big Finish has always been there, but there seems to be more stuff coming out now, because there's a lot of stuff actually on Spotify. There's some Batman ones on Spotify.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. And there was a vampire one that I listened to, which was pretty good, and the second season of that came out not that long ago. I can't remember what it was called, but it's like post-apocalyptic, and it's kind of like vampires have sort of taken over and stuff. And a lot of them have they have quite well-known people in it, which sometimes is a blessing and a curse, because there's a definite skill for voice acting as opposed to, I don't know what you call it, like TV or film acting. Do you know what I mean? When you can actually see the person. And I think sometimes they've cast people because of the name to bring, to put bums and seats or whatever. And they don't work as well on audio because it's not their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
I'm interested. Have you ever heard of We're Alive?
No.
So this is back. This was a podcast. This was a fiction podcast, and I think it started. I don't know when it was 2008, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. It's an oldie though. It's a like, yeah. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to check it out. But 14 years ago it started,
Right.
and it was a podcast. It's called We're Alive, and it's a zombie tale. Set the zombie outbreak, and I remember starting to listen to this podcast, and it was a full cast fiction podcast, and it was really good, and it's still going. It's still going.
Wow.
They've even got a spin-off called Descendants, set 18 years after, and stuff. And I was like, and then I just saw suddenly that they've brought it out as they've kind of collected it all as an audio drama and stuff. And I was like, I wonder if it's time to delve back into. And suddenly, I'm building up too much choice again, like I've got with books and TV, and I can't keep up, man.
Yes, yeah. It's just, there's so much, man.
I'd like to call an international hiatus on creativity just for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I can catch up.
And also, which we'll probably talk about more in a week, that was what I've realised, what I've started to do the tail end of this year, and I blame you for this, is I've started to kind of regress, and I've started to go back to stuff that I've watched, read, but I haven't picked it up in years.
I'm all over that at the moment. I'm proper retro.
And what I'm realising is a lot of the times, I don't remember a lot of the stuff, so it feels like I'm reading it to a certain extent or watching it for the first time,
which is great.
And it's great because you know at the back of your mind it's good. So it's like, but anyway,
let's move along. Hey,
do you want to do a bit of news? First bit of news is basically it's waving goodbye to a staple of the digital comic sphere, which is Comixology, which closed its doors on the 4th of December. I say closed its door, I mean effectively the app has now been fully integrated into the Amazon Kindle. But let's be honest, you know, the Comixology app has kind of been dead for quite a while now.
Yeah.
It's just basically, this is just the equivalent of someone's just screwed a silencer on and just put two bullets in the back of its head. Do you know what I mean?
Clinical killing.
Kicked it into the mud. Do you know what I mean? No, I invented guided view. And it's sad. I think it's sad because Comixology kind of revolutionized in a lot of ways the digital comics,
absolutely,
industry. You know, guided view was a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, one of the things I do miss about it is the fact that I found so many kind of indie comics and stuff.
It was very easy to explore with.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And that's just not, it's just not there with the Kindle. It just isn't. I find that I'm reading a lot of more mainstream stuff, unless it's stuff that I'm physically told about, or I sit and go through like the Kindle Unlimited stuff, which I do every so often. But yeah, I think we're moving much more back to like recommendations and stuff like that.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. But yeah, Comixology, raise a glass to you. You were living large for a while there.
Yeah.
But like I said, 2 hollow points to the back. Right, it sounded like you were doing the end of EastEnders then.
Yeah.
Janine! So the other bit of news is, did you ever read any of the Spider-Man Noir comics?
I did not.
I think I've read one of them, which seems weird for me. But they're doing a supposedly.
I didn't even realise they were.
Yeah, supposedly Amazon is doing a Spider-Man Noir TV show. Obviously, you know the Spider-Man Noir in the what do you call it? Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage. Yeah. So that it's going to be apparently they're doing a show in Amazon. The thing I found quite interesting, and I think the showrunner they're tapping is the same showrunner who did The Punisher.
Okay.
So make of that what you will.
All right.
The other thing I find quite interesting is that apparently it's not going to be Peter Parker.
Oh.
Which seems odd.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. I wonder if there's some sort of contractual thing going on there.
Must be a legal thing, but it's a bit of a. I can see that being a bit of a problem.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm probably more forgiving if it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Call it whatever you want if it's good, but I still feel it's still a bit of an old thing at the moment. But we'll see. Yeah. So that's the news. That's all fit to print. You got none.
It's time for the week that was.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Okay. It's time for a brand new segment.
Oh, exciting!
That I'm calling "What I Learned from UFO."
This is what I'm talking about.
So for those of you who have been sticking with us, who've listened to a couple of the previous episodes, you will know that both Dave and I have been doing I say rewatch, but I never watched it in the first place.
I thought I had,
I hadn't. That's what I've realised is that I haven't.
No.
But yeah, I've been doing a watch of UFO, which was from the Gerry Anderson staple, who brought shows like Captain Scarlet, Thunderbirds,
Supercar.
Yeah, and generally spent their time bring violence through to kids.
Man.
And UFO is no exception. And so I have been watching UFO. I'm way behind Dave, but I've been making notes as I've been going along with
I've got one
said.
episode left.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, with what you said the other day, which is like what I've learned from UFO this week. So just a couple that I'm going to put that I've got is one, what I noticed is Shadow, which is the organisation, was very equal ops back in the day because one of their pilots was a Jamaican dude.
Yeah.
I thought, given the fact this was 70s?
Yeah.
70s, I thought, okay, it's pretty good. All of the doctors are creepy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if it was done well, this would make for one hell of a reboot.
Oh, man.
Although, I don't know how you could get anyone to play them three leads.
No.
That's my problem. I don't know who could do Stryker.
No, I don't know. And I'm like, how come that guy's career didn't explode after that? I don't know. My boy is ice cold, man.
There were things as well. When you say he's ice cold, right? It's like one of the episodes, literally one of his kind of close members nearly gets killed, gets put in hospital, and he starts mouthing off to Stryker about things being too dangerous or whatever. And he's kind of like, well, if you're well enough to worry, you're well enough to get back to work. The guy's literally on his deathbed in hospital. But the main thing I learned from UFO this week is Ed Straker, who's the commander of Shadow or whatever. That man can deliver biblical dry slaps.
Oh,
I have never seen the like before. If you slapped a man like that, he should go back in time.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Slap him back to last week.
Yeah, because I could. Oh, you were gonna tell General Ferro, were you? Oh yeah, you gonna run Shadow, were you? The guy he was slapping was literally in tears. I was like, man, that guy got boxed, man.
I
couldn't believe it was. And it was like, after they kind of deal with it, the next scene, the same man and Stryker and the other guy who's I can't remember his name.
Foster, Paul Foster.
No, Foster's the one getting slapped. It was the other guy.
Oh yeah,
the one in
Freeman.
the brown suit. Yeah, Freeman. Yeah, they're all like chilling in the office, running jokes, and I'm like, look, me and you have been friends like for like what 40 years.
Yeah.
Right. If you slap me like that, right, we're done.
You know,
There ain't no next day. Hey, B, you wanna go and get whiskey? I'll be like, the only whiskey I'm getting is the
I was under
glass
the
of lashing
influence,
you.
man. I was under the influence. I was under the mental
Man.
influence.
Nah, done. And he's there laughing along with him. I'm like, boy, you're better than me, man.
Now I'm still. I think the biggest thing I learned is that the one thing, if you're a woman, and all women take note here, if you're a woman, the one thing that will help you better in your duties, if you're on the moon, is to wear a purple wig.
Yeah, I don't understand what that's about.
It's like, it's just like, when you're on rotation, you can come back down to Earth. There's no purple wig. So like, but the minute you get back to the moon, you got to put a purple wig on. I'm like,
Is that some kind of shielding or, you know what I mean?
I don't know. Like the men don't have to wear a purple wig. I can't find, you know what I mean? Do you know what? I've got one, it's 26 episodes. I've just done episode 25 today. And I just came out going, I am thoroughly enjoying every minute of this stuff. And you know what I mean? It's of its time. Yeah, there's a fair amount of misogyny going on. It's of its time. But like you say, I think done right, hell of a reboot. I could literally finish watching this and start again from the beginning. That's how much I'm enjoying it.
It's
And I reckon I could talk about this show for hours.
Yeah. Also, as well, no one does gunfire sound effects like Gerry Anderson, man.
Oh man,
when people get shot in that show, they get shot. They don't even get shot; they get gunned down, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, yeah. No, I love it. And the thing is, every episode, there's no guarantee who's coming out the other end of the episode.
No. Also, as well, I wouldn't mind one of them suits,
I'm telling you.
One of them collarless suits, man. Especially that lilac one that Foster's been busting.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what?
I'm liking it.
Pull it off, man.
Which episode have you finished lately?
I think I've done 6 episodes now. I think 5 or 6.
Right. Was that ESP? Kill Straker?
Oh, no, it was the last one I did was the kill. I need to have a break after Kill Straker because biblical slaps.
I'm telling you, I think I took a break after that as well.
I must have watched that scene about 5 times, man.
I don't think
people don't get boxed like that in shows anymore.
No, they don't. They're not
allowed.
Like
in the old days,
They don't smoke as much as they used to.
That's true. Or drink or duty.
This guy's got a whole bar in his office, man.
But it's the fact
these guys are lighting up at the drop of them.
I think it's the fact they shot a UFO down. It's like, yeah, confirmed target, confirmed kill. And it's like, yeah, I've got another one. Cigar lick, don't mind if I do. I'm like, wow. Anyway,
I think what gets me is that, like you say, they're all friends, but nothing's going on. They're all smiling at each other, getting each other coffee, whatever. The minute things go on, no one's got any time for manners or to be nice. Like,
nope.
Get me this. It's like, this was your boy a minute ago. Yeah, get me this now. Not even please. Or Paul, if you could get me this, that'd be great. Yeah, get me onto this now. That's curt. It's like short with each other. I'm like, how are you all still friends?
Yeah, there's no HR department there, man.
No, there isn't.
And if there is, he's already slapped it into oblivion.
No, but also, it's like if there was, they would take out Paul Foster because he's just rude, man. He just keeps me every other episode. It's a new woman.
Also, what I like about him as well is like, not that I like about him, is like every episode he's just in the background, like just screw face about something. Don't even know what. It's just still his arm folded, just like screwing in the background. You know what I mean?
And he was in the run-in to be James Bond. It was between him and Roger Moore.
Oh, I could see that. that.
No, I thought the more it's gone on, I've got I can see that. Sorry, man. We should probably. I know we're coming back. I know we're coming back to this show, but
let's move on, man. So we could move into week that was, or we could do a quick question from the syndicate, then some week that was. Or
let's do a quick question from the syndicate.
Okay, so I put the shout out, and we've had loads of responses. So The one that I picked for this week is from Ron, who has asked, between film, TV, and streaming services, all with mixed results, is the superhero genre saturated or at least only appealing to its base viewers with no chance of growth?
Ooh. That's a question. I find it really interesting question, especially because it's really hard to work out the context. And the reason I say that is because I'm thinking about the Marvels movie that's just come out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, this has been the worst Marvel film ever. And the numbers were bad in comparison to all the other Marvel films. However, when the numbers for cinema in general came out for November, it was one of the best performing.
Yeah.
For November this year. So the context matters a lot. And I follow a certain comic creator on Facebook who, I don't know why I do, but I do. And he and his cohort were so happy and excited that Marvel's was doing bad. And for them, they were like, it's, if you go woke, you go broke. That's what happened. Turned out, actually, it's context of the time of year, of movies in general, blah, 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 blah. So is it actually doing badly? Or does the context go, actually, it's doing as well as anything else is? I don't know.
As in, cinema isn't doing particularly well.
Yeah.
Because the simple fact is, I think since the pandemic, people aren't going to cinema as much. And I think part of that is because we kind of got conditioned to watching stuff at home because of the pandemic. And then we started to get the home premiere thing where you could pay 15 quid or whatever, and then you've got the film then and there, sometimes it's a month. Sometimes for some films they were doing day and date, weren't they?
Yeah. But also it's like, Jimmy, I got a projector.
Yeah, me too.
And decent quality, so I can do it. I've got good sound, I've got a projector. If I'm watching a movie with the kids, they want to go toilet, I can pause it because they don't pause it for me. I've asked in the cinema. I've said, we just want to go toilet. They just keep rolling. So I'm like,
but I think, I think you said I think it's a complicated question, but I do think the fact that cinema itself, people aren't as, people aren't rushing out in the same way. And I know people can then quote back a particular film which has made $1 gazillion, but they're more the exception than the rule now. There was a time where you'd hit summer and every film that came out over the summer was nailing it. Do you know what I mean? People just rushing to cinema. That isn't happening in the same way.
No.
I think unless it's like a real event.
But then to take that out and go, there's also TV. Is that?
I do think, I to be honest, the question is, well, the first part of the question is the superhero genre saturated? Yes. In my opinion. And when I say saturated, in many ways, it's the type of superhero genre. Well, there's an element of the same type of films that we're getting. Because if you were to say to me, is the comic book genre saturated? Comic book adaptations or whatever, I would say no. I would just say that we're focusing on a particular type. Do you know what I mean? Which is capes.
Yeah. But the thing is, there's a whole lot of comic-based stuff out there.
Yeah.
And we don't always people don't identify it with comics.
Yeah. I mean, look at the first Doctor Who special.
Yes, absolutely. Based on a comic.
Based on a comic. So I think, but I do find that after I still want to see superhero stuff, but I don't know, I want to see something a bit different.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that
which is why I love the Doom Patrol, because it was different.
Yeah, I don't know. Give me a Doc Savage film, or I don't know. Just give me something that's a bit different. Because I saw the trailer for So the other question, no chance of growth. I do think there is a chance of growth, but I feel that they need to. I think they're a bit trapped within their own bubble, and I think they
Which
need
is
to.
which is the same thing for DC and Marvel.
Yeah. But I think the problem is it's difficult because whenever they do kind of try to break out of the bubble, it doesn't work. So they end up then rolling back to what they, you know what I mean, to what they've always
Why
known.
doesn't it work? Is that because people like the safety of, I don't know, I don't know, because
I think sometimes,
basically people get what they ask for and they don't like it.
yeah. Also, I think sometimes they don't trust. You know, they go out, they get some kind of experimental filmmaker and writers or whatever, and they don't trust them enough. So then studios interfere and then go, actually, no, we want it. And they start chopping it and changing everything. And then basically you just get a cookie cutter superhero film, you know? Because to me, when you look at, I still think when you go back and you watch Blade holds up.
Yes.
And Blade doesn't feel, to me, some of the later ones, you know what I mean? But that first Blade film, to me, does not feel, you wouldn't,
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but you wouldn't sit there and necessarily think straight off I wouldn't say it's a superhero film in that way. Do you know what I mean? It's horror. It's action horror. It's action horror. It just happens to be based on a comic book character. But it's got its own rules set up and stuff. And I think maybe going back to those, which is what we talked about, maybe going back to more individual movies rather than trying to like tack everything together. I think sometimes that's where they fall apart, I think.
Yes.
They're trying to kind of connect everything.
Well, I mean, how do you get new people in when you need to know 100 different things?
Yeah. You know, look at, I know a lot of people didn't like it. I loved it. But you look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? And that first season, first half where people were slating it because they were trying to kind of tack it in, but they didn't have the money. And they didn't have the stars that everyone wanted to see. So you might see a little shot of Coulson walking past Captain America's shield and people would lose their minds, go, oh my God, it's Cap's shield. Or they mentioned Cap. And the most they could stretch to was like getting Samuel Jackson in for like 10 minutes. But I think when they realised that wasn't happening and they just went, stuff it, we're going to do it our way, that's when that show worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That to me is what you could have had if you'd give, that film Eternals.
Yeah.
That to me, we've already talked about at length what we think about the film, but I think to me that film could have worked as a TV show alongside like the Marvel films. So it's kind of, with the money.
To me, that's classic because to me, that was something a bit different and people didn't like it.
But I can argue why people didn't like it. I didn't particularly like it. But I like the fact they were trying to do. But I like the fact that they were trying to do something different.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I want to see more of. But also, I want to see like more from other people, not just DC and Marvel.
No, I was just about to say that. I mean, you've got the boys out there and you've got Invincible in animated stuff.
Yeah.
And people are loving that.
Yeah.
So again, saturated or not, I don't think it matters if it is, as long as you're providing the right kind of content. Yeah. I don't think it's the saturation that's the problem. It's the content that you're providing. That is probably the problem.
Yeah. I want to see a Hellboy, I want to see a BPRD and Hellboy show, TV show that work. Because that works. I just don't know why that last Hellboy film, that was awful, man. Awful.
No excuse.
No excuse, man, to do a bad Hellboy film. But I personally think now you've tried to do it a few times now. Just give me a BPRD because then you haven't got the people. You haven't got to climb the hill of people automatically assuming it's Hellboy. So it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or do me do me BPRD animated, man.
Yep, I'm all over that.
Animated, I'm all over. Get me a good voice cast, good animators, money in the bank. I'm telling you.
Yep, right there with you, man. Right there with you. And you already say that because we're about to go on a reread.
We are.
And yeah, if anyone is a big Hellboy, sort of BPRD, Mignolaverse aficionado, I've come across about 4 or 5 different reading orders for the whole thing, and I don't know which one to go with now. So if anyone's got a suggestion, yeah, I'm up for that.
Right. Bit week that was.
It's time for the week that was.
Yee.
So, can I start?
Yeah, go for it.
So, I want to talk about Doctor Who, but probably not the Doctor Who you imagine I'm going to talk about.
That's good because I've got a whole podcast on that.
Yeah, and I got things to say about that, but I'll probably get myself in trouble because my opinions aren't very popular. But this is, I want to talk about Doctor Who and the Daleks.
Is that the Peter Cushing one?
No.
Ooh.
The actual one from 1963, it was the second story. So Doctor Who came on, you had 4 episodes, like with the Unearthly Child, and then he went back to sort of prehistoric times and cave people. And then they ended up on Skaro and had the first ever meeting with the Daleks. And that's when Doctor Who really went boom and the Daleks kicked it off.
Mm-hmm.
And how many episodes was that? 6 episodes.
Right.
So someone said to me, "Are you watching the Daleks in colour?" And I thought, what? What's that? No one's told me about that. So I went and had a look. They've colourised it.
Oh, okay.
So in my mind, they've colourised it and put together as a movie. So I'm like, someone said, I don't know if I should watch it. You know, if it's just, they've just taken it and colourised it. And will it be the same? I don't know. Am I being too much of a purist? Decided to watch it. It is a totally different ball game. They haven't just cut. Number one, I understand that colorizing is a labor intensive project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard that. They did a bloody good job. Yeah, really good. I mean, there's a lot of blue going on, but maybe there's a technical reason for that.
Yeah.
Bloody good job of colorizing it. I'm really impressive. But they didn't just do that. They changed the soundtrack. They have edited out all the fat. Yeah, there's no waste. In fact, it's worse than that. It doesn't let up. It does not stop. The action, the tension, it just keeps going and going. They've edited it so well. They've edited in flashbacks and all sorts. And I was stunned, B. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like watching something I hadn't watched before.
Wow.
The pace of the thing was all different. Because, you know, I mean, TV was a lot slower back then.
Yeah.
This ain't slow. It's relentless. It's a bit where you actually go, you know what? I actually need to catch my breath here. Yeah, I need to press pause if you lot ain't gonna have a quiet moment. But it is on this show, and they've even done stuff. So, like in the original, the Daleks are talking about their Dalek forefathers because Khalids, who they came from, didn't exist. So they've changed that to Khalid forefathers to bring it in. And if you do watch the original, the Daleks' gun sticks are rubbish. Yeah. I mean, they're absolutely rubbish. And they've changed that so it shoots like they do nowadays. It actually looks a lot more scary.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it. I cannot. If you got the time and you care for it, I couldn't recommend it enough.
So, 2 questions. So, 1, is this the first Doctor?
Yep, William Hartnell.
Okay. And 2, so how long is it now? Because you know you said they've edited into like a movie and stuff.
It's 75 minutes long.
Oh wow! Okay.
So keep in mind, you had 6 episodes you had 6 episodes of 25 minutes each originally. Yeah. No, sorry, 7 25-minute episodes.
Wow.
And it's been edited down to 75 minutes long.
Wow, that's some serious trimming of the fat, man.
Yeah. I
might give that a look. See.
It's. Yeah, nah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I cannot praise it. The team behind it, I cannot praise them enough. There's one odd bit where they're running down the corridors in Skaro, and the music choice is a bit odd. It's kind of like happy-go-lucky jazz going on. I was like, where did that come from? That's the only misstep in the whole thing. Like, where did that come from? That's just a bit odd. do 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 ba ba. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, okay. But apart from that,
Okay. All right.
the team behind it deserve a round of applause, man.
Okay. Well, whilst we're on the Doctor Who tip, I was going to leave to later, but it's just more of a quick mention because you did talk about this at length, I think, last time. But I've now started listening to Doctor Who Once and Future.
Oh yeah,
which is the Big Finish sort of celebration of like the 60th anniversary, and like you said, each story features like a different Doctor and companion all sort of mixed up and stuff because he's been shot with degeneration
gun,
yeah, whatever it is. And I'm on, I think, so the first one I listened to was Tom Baker, and then the next one was Peter Davidson with like Doctor's Daughter, and the one I've just started, well, I'm about 20 minutes in, is David Tennant and Misty and stuff. I've got to say, like, you know, aside from a couple of quibbles, I've been enjoying the specials on TV. However, when you have the beauty of audio where you can kind of go anywhere, do anything, have anyone you want in there, it dwarfs it, man.
This is a proper 60th anniversary event.
I haven't listened to any of the Tom Baker ones yet. And when I was a kid, like, Tom Baker was my Doctor. Do you know what I mean? With a little bit of Pertwee, but mainly it was Tom Baker. But kind of hearing him again,
he sounds good, doesn't he?
He sounded good.
His voice is still
really
strong,
worried,
man.
I'm like, no, it's the Doctor. He's the Doctor.
Yeah,
I mean, it was done, and the way, and that one had Kate and Osgood in there as well. And it was the way they used them worked really well. The Peter Davison one I thought was, it's Peter Davison, and it had Colin Baker as well.
Yeah.
He was the creator. That was wicked.
Yeah,
great story, great acting. I've just started the like I said, the David Tennant one. It's my first time listening to Dave. I know he's done some Big Finish stuff, but it's my first time listening to him, and I was unsure.
It's just so good.
But like the minute he comes on, I'm like, what's this? Yeah. I mean, and to me, what is a joy in a way that I almost, because I never really liked what they did when they brought the Master back. I say that up front, making him like the Joker or whatever. I never liked that. But but the way that Michelle Gomez does Missy,
oh yeah,
she's off the chain good.
And I don't know if you listen to the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, I always do.
But it's just hilarious that David Tennant going. She goes, like, she just goes off piece so much because you don't know when it's your turn to speak. Should you come in now? Has she finished? Is there some more comedy gold going? She just sounds hilarious.
Yeah. So no, I'm absolutely loving it. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, that's an event. That's an event.
Do you want to go next, or do you want me to roll over my next one?
You roll on, and I'll.
Okay, I'll do a film because I saw this week. So I watched the latest Mission Impossible.
Okay.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. First off, you're a Mission Impossible fan, aren't you?
Yeah. I haven't seen them all though. I'll be honest.
Okay,
I kind of got a bit lost.
Yeah, it's easily done, man. I really enjoy them. I think once I kind of got my head around the fact that it's not the same as the TV show. Yeah, I mean, really in some ways, there are similarities, and I love the fact they use some of the same musical beats as well. They've always done that, so that's cool. But it is much more high octane than the shows were. With the shows were almost more like a chess game, moving the right pieces around, and all of a sudden, literally every episode you get to, and it's like checkmate, which is normally some guy just left in the shit. And the Mission Impossible force is driving away in the van, chuckling to themselves as that guy's just being carted off to be killed.
And the guy don't even know what's happening.
He don't know what's happening.
And I just remember episodes where like the guy's being led away, and the team are standing on the street looking, and he looks at them. He don't know them from Adam. He don't recognize. They it's like proper spy work. You don't even know they were there.
Yeah. And I think that's what I loved about it is, I think you said it's proper spy work. Whereas the the film's a lot more. I mean, there's spy work in there, but it's a lot more flashy and there's a lot more tapping the keyboards and people ripping off masks and running and stuff. But I'm all good with that. But this one, yeah, I said Dead Reckoning. I loved it, man. I loved it because there was so much like practical stunt work as well. You know what I mean? And Tom Cruise chipping. That's what I want. That's what I pay my money to see.
No, do you know what? If there's one thing I'll give Tom Cruise, he knows how he could chip, man.
Man, my boy was digging up in this film like there was no tomorrow, man. He was like Satan was on his heels at one point. You know what I mean? No, I loved it. I loved it, man. And it was, and one of the things I loved about this one is there was like a great villain in there, but most of the times you showed him, they always kind of skewed the angle a bit, like in this, you know, them 60s shows like Man from Uncle, where they would skew the angle. They kind of did that. And there's one bit where he's sitting there. My boy's always busting a cravat, the villain.
Nice.
He was always well turned out, you know what I mean? And he's got the cravat and he's got like a white kind of blazer on, and he's kind of like, you have no idea the power I represent. I literally went, boo, boo. See, that's a villain, do you know what I mean?
Nice. All right. What's it on? What channels?
I rented it. It was only but it's at normal rental price now.
On Prime.
On Prime.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but it was normal rental price. But this is Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is my issue. Is it's you can still watch it. It's self-contained, but obviously it does end with a leaving some breadcrumbs there for the next one. And I kind of almost wished they hadn't done that because it could be like 3-4 years before we get the next one. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would have rather them have done it, even though they're going to be linked. I'd rather it have been a much more clear cut end. But like I said, aside from that, you know what I mean? I loved it.
I've got a movie then.
Go on in.
Babylon 5, The Road Home.
Oh, is this the animated one?
Yeah.
Oh, I've not seen that.
I got it for my birthday.
Oh, cool.
And I was almost scared to like start it because I'm such a big Babylon 5 fan. And so, I wanted to do it justice. And so, animated adventure set after the events of the TV show. And so I wrapped it, put it on, decent animation. And it was so emotional, man.
Was it?
Just hearing all the old voices and seeing representations of people and stuff. And it's basically, as the president of the universe, or whatever he is now, Sheridan, he's the president, and he's just doing this ceremony and something goes wrong and he comes unstuck in time. But not just unstuck in time, unstuck in dimensions and parallel universes, because everyone's doing a multiverse at the moment.
Yeah.
And you just see him go from like Babylon 5 scenario to Babylon 5 scenario and just try and change things and do things. And sometimes there's people putting it on the line. There's some scenes of people, you know how I love when people put it on the line. And just to share, and it don't stop and it keeps going. And just to share him trying to get back home and how he does it. And every time he jumps, it's killing him, basically. Excuse me. And it's just all on. And it was just enjoyable, really enjoyable. Felt like coming home a little bit. So
okay.
I'll give you that a thumbs up.
Cool. All right, man. Yeah, I basically I'd completely forgotten it'd come out with everything else that's coming out. Things just fall through the cracks. Do you know what I mean? Easily.
There's so many things. It's getting to the point where if I don't write down what I want to watch, then I might forget about it until someone brings it up in a year's time.
Yeah. Which brings me on to a couple of Netflix shows, which I've just finished, another one I'm about 4 episodes in. So one I just finished, which I'll quickly, because I did talk about it before, which was Lupin.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'll keep it brief. Loved it. Just loved it. It's just sassy and, you know what I mean, proper heists. Never know what's coming next. There was one thing that happened in there that I thought was nearly brought me completely out of the show, because I thought that is so against his character for him to have done what he did. And I struggled with that pretty much for the rest of the series.
Mm.
But the way it ended, I was like, it's on now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, cracking. Well worth a watch, man. And the other thing, which is what I'm in deep at the moment, which is what you recommended, is Blue Eye Samurai.
Ha 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 ha.
Man,
Beautiful. Number one, it's beautiful, isn't it?
it's the very definition of, like, in my mind, adult animation.
Yeah.
In terms of look and tone,
Mm.
and what's going on and the story and the characters and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
It's just good storytelling.
Good storytelling, fantastic action and sword play.
Oh, choreography, man.
Choreography is just also as well. Like, if you grew up like we grew up watching, like, old school martial art films and, like, things like the Water Margin and stuff. When someone sort of says, "Do you know what I mean? Send out the four fangs. Don't waste any more time with him. Send out the four fangs." I'm like,
It's on. It's on.
It's on. Do you know what I mean?
But also, there's this bit, I can't remember which the fight was, and what I loved about it is, like, I'm watching it. No, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. And it was proper, just like looking for weakness in the other opponent, not making a move. And I remember that from the Water Margin back in the day.
With that fight with the one dude that lasted about 2 days, and then
on the hill, the sun was going
yeah.
up, the moon was, and I was like, and it's just like, no, not yet. Hand shifts on the blade, no.
Because I think they play out the fight.
In their heads.
And they do something and they go, okay, that won't work. And you see someone kind of shift their foot, and then when he shifts the foot, the other guy then plays it out. He's like, okay, right now, and he just, like you said, adjust the sword a little bit. Yeah, it's a wicked show, man.
So good.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
So this little bit, this one I want to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
I call what I learned from Star Trek Discovery. Excuse me. So I've finished Discovery now. There's one more season left, which isn't out yet.
Yeah.
So, but apart from that, me and Siobhan sat down and we burnt our way through it. So essentially, we really enjoyed the last 2 seasons, and that is so at the end of the first 2 seasons, they go through wormhole and end up in the future. From that point on. Spoiler. But from that point on, it's quite an important point.
Okay.
From that point on, I think it becomes what everyone was complaining about. It didn't feel very Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And from the moment they arrive in the future, I think it begins to feel more Star Trek. They're pursuing a more Star Trek agenda, a more Star Trek mission. And I realized I was loving it. Maybe because of that, I don't know, but I was really enjoying it. So the 2 things I've learned is that nothing important can happen unless you talk in a really earnest whisper, or you do it with emotion, but it has to be in a whisper. Nothing good will ever happen unless you talk in a whisper. That's the first thing I've learned. Secondly, you can go forward in time and still be the best Federation crew and still learn how to use their technology. I mean, we're talking 1,000 years forward, or however long it is.
Yeah.
And they've used how to use, they're still the best scientists and the best this and that. These people have had better technology than you for 1,000 years, and you come in and you just take it over.
Man, I'm still struggling with TikTok.
Right? And I was like, yeah. And they got no training. And just like, didn't show you again. And it's just like, oh yeah, this is great. I can't believe it. Wow, you can do this. How you know what that button does? And I'm like, yeah, so there was that. And I'll tell you what, the Federation ships in the future are ugly, man.
Really?
They're ugly. But then you never see on board one. You never see like what the modern... And I know it's about the Discovery, but because you're in this new place, you need some context. And they don't give you that. You don't see the rest of the Federation ships or the captains. They're all whatless as far as I can tell. You know what I mean? Boy, they wouldn't have got nowhere if Michael and crew hadn't turned up, you know? It's true. That's what I discovered. That's what I've learned of Star Trek Discovery. Federation of Futures are whatless.
Right. Is it worth me watching season 4?
I think so.
Okay.
Because the threat is real. I mean, it's a big threat.
Okay.
The threat was like, I like this threat because I mean, yeah, there's some moments in there you're just like, ooh. Ooh.
My next question is though, do I need a bit more of a gap because I've just it hasn't been that long since I've come off Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's because
No, because nothing's coming close to that. That's the thing.
because I'm still
Yeah.
waiting for the spin-off with Umbenga and like Nurse Chapel.
I'd pay. I'd contribute to the Kickstarter.
I mean, so yeah, but I did. I know a lot of people didn't like, but I didn't mind the last season of Discovery. There's stuff about it that I do quite like. I still struggle with her, man.
Who?
What's her name? Burnham.
Oh, do you?
I struggle with the fact of where she started to where she is now, because what it shows you is like you can you can cause a war that lasts generations and kills millions of people and still succeed. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
And I guess maybe it's because they jumped in time, but no, because they didn't really in the other shows didn't necessarily do it in the same way either. A couple of episodes and done. But when you look at Picard and his arc, he's still paying. They don't miss a chance to remind him of what went down when he was Locutus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't miss a chance. Whereas with Burnham, it's like, don't worry, that's in the past. Don't worry about it. And I would argue that what she did was worse.
Yeah.
Because Picard had no control over what he was doing. She just disobeyed orders and just did her own thing because she was flying by the seat of her pants and then caused an international incident which caused a war which killed millions of people. She got sent to prison for a little while and now she's literally like got her own ship and crew.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying she ain't had trials and tribulations and all that, but it would be nice every so often if someone would just call her on it.
Yeah.
If someone on the ship was like just got drunk one day and be like, I mean, my daughter got killed because of you in the Clone War. Like my dad was stationed on outpost, blah blah blah, died because of you. Do you know what I mean? Just something to just bring her back to earth a little bit, just for her to sort of go, yeah, I did do it back. I might be doing it right now, but I did cause that.
Yeah, no, and she's still doing it.
Is she just doing her own thing?
Yeah. I've also just finished Star Trek Lower Decks as well.
I'm quite excited because I probably watched it over Christmas. I haven't watched any of it yet. I mean, any of the latest season. I mean.
Right. It's nice because they start to build up an enemy. So like a lot of things, they have a big. I think it was Buffy that coined the term the big bad. So people are like, oh, what's this season? So they have a big bad in this one.
Okay.
That's slow. So each episode is still self-contained, but you've got this one thing running through it that's happening that they've got to get to the bottom of.
Nice.
So yeah.
Cool. Right. On that note, unless you've got anything you want to quickly slip in, I wanted to see if there was one more question from the.
I'm just going to slip this one in because I'm not going to say much. Except I finished Raised by Wolves. Yeah, it had 2 series. It was really, 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 really good. And HBO cancelled it. So they were working on the 3rd season. All the answers were going to be in there. And it's gone. And I'm like, please bring out a comic or something so I can find out how this thing actually ends.
Just a pamphlet.
Just a pamphlet breaking it down, what you were going to put in it. Because it was so good. And it was one of those sci-fi things that was different from everything else out there. The feel of it, the tone of it, the messages it was trying to get across, it was different. And how'd they reward difference? They cancelled it.
And I think sometimes that's the problem. When you look back in the heyday of like the 80s, we were kids, whatever, and you had Unite Rising, A-Teams, whatever, they were all self-contained. And when you got a 2-part, that's when you lost your mind.
Yeah.
But they were all, but everything else was kind of self-contained. Whereas now with the other way, and everything it's all connected. And that's great when you've got X amount of seasons.
but there's no guarantees
There's no
anymore.
guarantee. So I really worry when people sort of come and go, oh yeah, we've been commissioned, and it's going to be we've got it planned for like 6-7 seasons. We've got a 7-story arc. We've got it all planned. I'm like, that makes me worried. I'd rather you turn around and go, every season is we've got a story to tell, you know what I mean? But every season's going to be self-contained, because you can do that and you can still have a slight narrative thread running through the back of it. But I feel this day and age, you've got to be prepared that the season you're on could be your last.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you always need an out, don't you?
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like Lost has taught us nothing, man.
Yeah. Oh, don't even say that word.
Yeah, let's not finish on that though, man. Well, in fact, we are.
But there was something else. I can't remember what it was now. They found out they'd been cancelled and said they had some rewrites, brought people back in to wrap it up in a satisfying way. And I was like, okay.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
All right. So yeah, it's been a one. It's been what's the word?
It's been emotional.
Epic. It's been emotional. So let us know, as usual, what you think of what we're talking about. Are we talking nonsense? Are we on the money? Let us know. You can do it at the geeks at geeksyndicate.co.uk and at all your social media outlets. So till next time, hopefully we'll get one in before Christmas. If not, happy Christmas.
Yeah, happy
Christmas. Holidays.
Watch out for Krampus, because apparently he's beating kids still.
Yeah.
Get social service involved in that one, man.
Long tongue.
Yeah.
Not happy about that. Yeah. So anyway, with that little bit of little nightmare planted as I go off to bed. Till next time, Geek Syndicate.
We out.